And thank you to Desiree for inviting me. My name is Anna Harb. I teach in the comm department. My goal really is for you to walk away from today understanding the way that your body communicates with others. 93% of the information that you convey to others is nonverbal. I want you to put your feet within one of these boxes. For most of us, this is going to make our feet hip width, excuse me. So your toes are pointing forward. This is gonna feel super weird because we never ever stand like this. It's so odd for our body to actually be in this position. Toes are pointing straight ahead, knees are stacked under our hips, and ankles are stacked under our knees. Now I just want you to feel what it's like to shift forward, just a little bit, without falling, and shift back, trying not to fall. Do it again, shift forward, shift back, and then just find the center, that's the arch of your foot. Now, most people say to walk with, or to stand sort of balanced on your feet. I find that it's a little bit more helpful to imagine yourself slightly pitched forward. And I'm talking like a hair. So I'm not going to be able to see that you're doing this, but you're going to be able to feel it. And what this does by just kind of moving forward a little bit is that it suddenly engages all of your leg muscles. Do you feel that?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. And if you don't, you might have to go a little bit more forward. Now if your core is your trunk, your legs are your roots. And often when we're nervous, when we're feeling insecure, we feel kind of like flighty and light. And what I like to tell my students, Jennifer, you remember this, is to root yourself into the ground. So that's why it's really helpful to feel that tension in your legs, because it suddenly roots you into the earth. So just kind of let your legs go again. And then feel, and you can like shake them out, whatever you need to do, then feel again what it's like to actually bring that tension back into your legs and root yourself into the earth. You probably immediately feel more stable, more connected, maybe even a little more confident. Hi, come in, don't worry. Good, now let's think moving up to our tailbone. So we have our legs covered, they're strong, they're roots, they're rooted into the ground. Our tailbone, what we tend to do, especially as women, is hyperextend. We kind of stick our butts out, okay? It feels good on our hips, totally normal. Again, if you've ever had a child, you know that this feels really good. And I'm telling you right now, this, especially when you're pregnant, feels really good. But it's bad because what you're gonna end up doing, not only does it look kind of like unprofessional, but you're gonna end up hurting your back. So what you want to imagine is that there's a weight, and it's kind of like hung onto your tailbone, and it's dragging your tailbone down to the floor. So what you're actually gonna do is sort of tuck your tailbone under. It's gonna feel weird, but what it's going to also do is engage your core. So feel what that's like, to just imagine the weight going down from your tailbone, and all of a sudden you go, boop, and you kind of tuck your butt under. So just feel that. So now let's talk about our core, our trunk. Again, our core is not our 6-pack, our 4-pack, our 1-pack, whatever you have, whatever pack you have. Our core are these deep, deep, deep muscles that connect our back to our abdominals. So imagine again that corset, and it's tightening, and someone's tightening the string, and it just gets a little bit tighter and stronger. Imagine also that your belly button is being pulled back to your spine. So it's almost like you're doing a little crunch standing up, right? So just imagine your belly button pulled back into your spine. Good. You should feel that. Does everyone feel that engagement? It's probably a little bit hard even. Good. Now, we have our arms. Just shake them out a little, because you have all this tension in your legs, and now we have our arms. Our arms are our branches. We have our trunk, we have our roots, we have our branches. Okay, so gestures. Distracting gestures are anything where you're touching your face, your hair especially. This is why my hair is pulled back today, because I know that I have a tendency to touch my hair. And as soon as you touch your hair, as soon as you do that wave, as soon as you do that fluff, you don't look so professional anymore. So If you are a hair toucher, make sure that if you're in an interview, if you're in a presentation, if you're in a meeting, your hair is pulled back, okay? Other sort of distracting gestures, touching your neck, rubbing your nose, just messing with your face in any way is distracting and unprofessional. So we want to avoid that. In terms of what else to do with our hands, the only advice that I can really give you without saying you should do this, you should do that, is to keep your palms open. It's more inviting, it calms people down, it tends to be more welcoming. Okay, so you want to think about open palm gestures more than fists. All right, so those are our branches, those are our gestures. Now let's talk about our chest. You don't want to open your chest too much because it looks artificial and it makes you look kind of like you're working too hard at your posture, and that's not what you want. So what I like to imagine is that you have a flashlight on your chest and it's just pointing straight ahead, not up, straight ahead, okay? And that should just open your chest a little bit. And then your shoulders. Imagine that there's a string connecting your shoulders like that corset and just tying them together. So your shoulders get pinched back just a little bit. So it opens your chest and it brings your shoulders back a little. Now don't forget that those hands should be natural, they should be free. We're not robots, we're not statues, right? Good. Our necks. This is where a ton of stress lies. We're always on our phones, we're always sitting at the computer, you know, we sleep funny, right? So you want to think about your neck as loose and as relaxed. It's just a tube that is connecting your chest to your head. Don't try to, tighten it in any way. It'll make you stressed out and it'll make whoever you're speaking to stressed out as well. So we think about our neck as being loose and relaxed, and then our head just kind of sits on top of that loose and relaxed neck. Again, we really want to avoid having any sort of tension in our faces and in our heads. The last little thing that we're going to do to work on our posture is to imagine that there's a string from the top of your head connecting it to the ceiling. So it just kind of lifts your head up a little bit more, right? Imagine also that there's a 90-degree angle from your chin to the floor, and that'll help you kind of stay lifted. So notice you have this oppositional pull. You have a pull to the ceiling, and then you have a pull through the floor. This is forcing you to take up more space than you were when you were just waiting for the subway on your phone, right? So now this is you in your perfect, professional, confident posture. I want you to clock that. I want you to remember that, okay? So the first area of vocal delivery is pitch. Pitch has to do with how high or low your voice is. It's not really something that you can control. Some people have a high voice, some people have a low voice. What you can control are the inflections that come at the end of your sentences. Most people tend to use something called upspeak. So it sounds something like this. Hi, my name is Anna. I want to work for this firm because I've always wanted to go into finance, and it's just something I've always loved. Do you hear it? It's always sing-songy. And instead of taking that sentence and dropping it in pitch a little bit at the end, which can actually be a very powerful thing to do, I go up and up and up. It's never going to go away entirely, but something that you can do is be aware of it. So the first one is pitch. Second one is pacing. You want to think about slowing down. The third is volume. Just be aware of whether you're a low talker or whether you talk too loud. You want to be obviously somewhere in the middle there. And then the fourth important area of vocal delivery are pauses. We think we want to plow through what we're saying, right? Because it'll be over faster. And we'll sound really smart if we just keep talking. But actually what happens if you keep talking, is you fill spaces with filler words. Your ums, your so's, your likes, your We want to try to cut those filler words out of our vocabulary. And we cut them out by pausing.